Hello and welcome, my name is ZeroEmpires, bringing you a matchup, a bloody matchup between Enigma and Amazingjosh. And this game mode is Deathmatch, so a little bit different to the usual random matchups that I've been bringing you, and it's very exciting indeed. Deathmatch, you basically start with a lot more resources, and you start in the post-imperial age, which means that you have everything researched that you could possibly need. So all of these players are fully teched up, they can start churning out units, and it's more a matter of being able to multitask and keeping an eye on things, as well as keeping a high action per minute count. And it's good to see where these players take it, because they really have to stay on the ball and stay sharp. So Enigma is playing as Celts, which means he's able to bring out a lot of powerful units such as Paladins and Champions. Amazingjosh, on the other hand, is playing as Koreans. He's also able to bring out Champions. He's able to bring out his elite unit, which is the Elite War Wagon. And both players are able to bring out Siege Onagers as well. Onagers, I'm not sure how they're pronounced. And it really is a bloody battle. But not only have they got to keep an eye on their battle lines and their front line, they have to keep their resources high enough to churn out as many units as they possibly can. Now, they might think that 10,000 gold to start with is a lot of gold. However, do not be fooled. The gold goes down extremely quickly, and both players need to constantly churn out villagers in order to build buildings faster, and to be able to mine enough gold later on in the game so that they can produce enough units to counter their enemy. Enigma there, killing off a villager. And this is where it starts to get interesting, as both players build up their initial army, get their houses created, and start streaming men across the map. Enigma going very aggressive here. He's got Paladins on the field, he's got Road Raiders, a bit of a tongue twister there, and Champions heading over to Amazingjosh. Amazingjosh, on the other hand, is using an army of Champions similar to Enigma, and also hand cannoneers. He's also got a Siege Onager out, so that's going to enable him to cut through his units like butter. I call him like butter. Siege Onagers extremely powerful, however they are able to suicide their own units, and Enigma going straight for that there. Both players getting castles out. Amazingjosh is on his second castle right now. Enigma, on the other hand, has claimed the middle ground. He's already got 2 castles out himself, and he is he building a... Yes, he's building a third. Almost like a forward base there in the centre of the map. Enigma continuing to stream soldiers across the map, and Amazingjosh kind of looking quite thin on the army count. Those hand cannoneers do not stand a chance against those Paladins. Paladins arguably the strongest unit in the game, with 14 attack plus 4 when fully upgraded. So that's a whole 18 attack and 160 HP. These Onagers, if left out in the open, are easily picked off, and that's problematic because they do cost a lot to produce. Amazingjosh now churning out Champions, Halberdiers, and yet more hand cannoneers as well, also producing his Elite War Wagon, which is his unique unit. Enigma, however, is starting to get into Amazingjosh's base, and Amazingjosh has got a lot of defensive structures around, so he's able to combat this. Enigma, however, continuing to stream across the map. He's also sending villagers over here, so whether he's going to build... There we go, he's building another castle here to box Amazingjosh into his base. Enigma, however, has got a small disadvantage, and that is the fact that his units do cost more to produce. Paladins, one of the most expensive units in the game as well. Churning out them very nicely. He's got villagers already collecting gold, and he's working on more town centres to keep collecting resources from. That's 4th or 5th town centre right there. Relics also being captured to help with the gold income. Now Josh has run out of gold already, and it's no surprise building Ongers. They are extremely expensive to build. So Enigma getting right into Amazingjosh's base, and he's not going to be able to do too much damage. He has got a lot of defensive structures here. Another castle coming up. Unfortunately for Amazingjosh, his units do cost a lot of gold. He has got a lot of food and wood, however, so he's able to produce halberdiers, and that is exactly what he's doing. He's queuing them up. However, Enigma taking out some of his houses right now. Excuse me. Taking out some of his houses, and that's not good for getting a lot of units out. So Amazingjosh now on the back foot with his 4th or 5th town centre coming up. Also building a market to sell off some of that excess food in hope that he can get a little bit more gold to produce stronger units. Enigma now coming in with the battering rams, and he's going to be able to cut through those buildings extremely quickly if Amazingjosh does not react fast enough. And it looks like that monastery is going to go down. There we go, not a chance there, and the second one as well. And Siege Onagers firing everywhere, taking out his units fairly easily if they get into range. And more siege rams coming in. However, Amazingjosh is able to cut these down very quickly using infantry, as they have no infantry armor whatsoever. They do have 195 pierce armor though, so they are extremely dangerous if left to wreak havoc upon the enemy's buildings. Enigma continuing to push across the map with wave after wave of units. Is he changing his army consistency at all? He is slowing down on the production. That's probably due to nearly running out of gold. He is continually producing villagers, however, to keep mining up here. He's got a lot of villagers right there, bringing the gold count up. He's also got a further 2 castles and siege workshops up in this area. Claimed more gold over here, so Enigma's gold count is looking extremely good right now. Amazingjosh, on the other hand, is struggling here. He's not got so many villagers gathering gold. He has got a fair few, but it's nothing like the amount Enigma has. However, Amazingjosh with the highest score. That's probably due to him taking out a lot of Enigma's units. Usually the aggressor is the lower one on score, as their units are being taken out a lot more effectively. Amazingjosh with the monks, trying to either get a convert or to heal his units up there. Monks can be quite effective if used correctly. Amazingjosh now pushing out, trying to get rid of this contain that Enigma has tried to create. Siege Onagers doing a hell of a lot of damage to buildings and to anything that gets in their way, really. That's 76 whole attack for Siege Onagers. And that town centre looks like it's going to go down. Trebuchet being fired right there. So Amazingjosh able to get out of this little situation that he got himself in early on. However, Enigma has got a lot of gold. He is running low on food, however, so he is going to be looking to get some farms out, which he is doing exactly that. Food is very scarce for Enigma right now. And food is probably more important than gold in a way, because if you run out of gold, that's fine. If you've got a lot of food, you can still produce the halberdiers and other units that